The moment the scream cut through the sunlit afternoon air, Sophia Marston froze. She hadn't expected danger on a day like this. Warm skies, mild breeze, and a quiet riverside restaurant where laughter floated over clinking glasses. But when she turned and saw the stranger's shadow closing in behind her, a chill crawled down her spine. And before she could react, before the fear could even settle, a man she'd never met stepped between her and the danger with the speed of someone who had lived 1,000 emergencies. His voice was low, steady, protective. His stance was unshakable. She didn't even know his name yet, but in those few seconds, she realized her blind date wasn't a joke at all. If you believe kindness and second chances matter, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Touch of Kindness. It truly helps more people see these inspiring stories. Sophia Marston had built her life around certainty. At 36, she was the youngest CEO of a fast-growing financial consultancy in the city. Her days were carved into color-coded schedules, and her world revolved around quarterly forecasts, risk assessments, and the unwavering expectation that she had to be perfect. Perfection was her armor. Ever since childhood, when she learned that in a world full of powerful people, the only way to survive was to control everything she could. Yet for all her accomplishments, she carried a loneliness that felt heavier with every passing year. She tried to ignore it, telling herself that the world expected her to be relentless, not vulnerable. But the nights were the hardest, and so were the quiet mornings when she sipped her coffee and wondered what a life shared with someone might feel like. Her best friend, Raya, had insisted she go on a blind date, saying, "Even CEOs deserve someone who looks at them like they're human, not headlines." Sophia didn't want to admit how badly she needed that. She only agreed because Raya arranged everything and refused to take no for an answer. The man's name was Zane Corbin, a single dad, 39, former firefighter turned mechanic, a complete mismatch for her polished, high-structured world. But maybe that was exactly why Raya had chosen him. When Sophia arrived at the riverside restaurant that warm afternoon, sunlight reflecting off the water like shattered glass, she felt unsteady. She hated that feeling. Vulnerability wasn't something she showed. She sat at a table under a large umbrella, smoothed the creases of her navy dress, and waited. She almost left twice. She didn't do blind dates. She didn't do unpredictable people. And she certainly didn't do strangers who lived in worlds so different from hers. But then Zane arrived, carrying the kind of quiet strength that made people around him feel safe without understanding why. He wore a simple dark green t-shirt and clean jeans, his sandy brown hair slightly tousled, his posture relaxed but alert. His eyes were warm, calm, patient, not the type that measured worth by status or bank statements. He apologized for being late, explaining that his 9-year-old daughter, Lyra, had an asthma flare-up that morning. His voice softened when he mentioned her, and although Sophia tried to hide it, something inside her warmed at how tender he sounded. She'd never had someone speak to her about family with such raw sincerity. She found herself unexpectedly drawn to him, though she tried her best to appear detached. Their conversation started awkwardly, as blind dates often did. But slowly, it thawed. He talked about leaving firefighting after a structural collapse nearly took his life. He told her about raising his daughter alone since his wife passed away 5 years earlier, and how every choice he made now was with Lyra in mind. Sophia, who rarely spoke about her personal life, found herself admitting that she had no one waiting at home for her, not because she didn't want love, but because she thought she didn't deserve it unless she was perfect. Zane had smiled gently and said, "Sometimes life isn't asking us to be perfect, it's asking us to show up." She didn't know how to respond to something so simple and so devastatingly true. During the meal, Sophia realized something she hadn't expected. She didn't feel judged. She wasn't the CEO. She wasn't the woman constantly performing success. She was just Sophia. and she didn't remember the last time someone made her feel that way. But fate has an eerie way of shifting direction the moment you begin to hope. As Sophia stood after lunch, thanking Zane for the afternoon and thinking maybe, just maybe, this connection could be something real, a shadow moved behind her. A stranger approached with desperation etched across his face, his hand gripping something metallic. Before the cold edge of danger registered in her mind, Zane reacted. He stepped forward, shielding her with his body. His voice was firm but calm as he commanded the man to stop. The stranger, frantic and trembling, hadn't been targeting her at all. He was trying to snatch a purse from an elderly woman behind them, and when she screamed, he panicked. But Sophia only saw a figure in flight, a blur of movement, and terror rising inside her like a wave. Zane pushed her aside with gentle force, placing himself squarely in the man's path. The stranger stumbled, dropped the purse, and ran. And Zane stayed between Sophia and everything dangerous until the police arrived minutes later. When it was over, Sophia felt her knees grow weak. She almost collapsed into the chair behind her. Zane didn't boast, didn't make any heroic declarations. He just looked at her with concern and said, "Are you okay?" She wanted to say yes, but she wasn't. Not because of the danger, but because of what she realized in that moment. She had spent most of her life pretending she didn't need anyone, and yet here was a man who had known her only a few hours, but instinctively protected her like she mattered. Though shaken, she insisted on walking. With him afterward, she needed to breathe, needed to process. And Zane, patient as ever, walked beside her along the riverside path. The golden afternoon sunlight stretched across the water, shimmering with warmth, and as they walked, their conversation deepened into something richer, more vulnerable. Sophia never expected someone like him to understand her world, her pressure, her expectations, her fears of becoming insignificant if she ever stopped being perfect. But Zane understood in a way no one else ever had. He told her that fear of losing control was something he'd battled too, especially after the accident that nearly took his life and left him unable to return to the job he loved. He talked about rebuilding slowly, painfully, and learning that brokenness wasn't the end. Sometimes, he said, the most important moments in life are the ones that shake us. They force us to see what really matters. They continued talking until the sun dipped lower, painting the sky with amber strokes. Sophia felt a kind of peace she rarely experienced, and when Zane offered to walk her to her car, she didn't resist. But the day wasn't done. As they reached the parking lot, Zane's phone rang. It was Lyra's school. Her asthma had worsened, and she needed to be picked up immediately. Without hesitation, Sophia offered to come with him. He refused at first, insisting she'd had enough stress for one day, but she insisted, surprising even herself. She wanted to be there. She wanted to help. When they reached the school infirmary, Sophia saw the worry etched into Zane's face. She saw how he held his daughter's small hand with tenderness, his voice soft as he reassured her. And in that moment, something in Sophia cracked open. The CEO mask fell away completely. She stepped forward, offering her support, her calm presence, and a steady hand. Lyra looked at her with wide, curious eyes, but didn't pull away. She let Sophia help her to the car, let her carry her backpack, let her ride with them to the clinic. And for the first time in years, Sophia felt part of something meaningful, not through money, not through power, but through quiet connection. The doctor confirmed it was a manageable flare-up. With medication and rest, Lyra would be fine. Relief washed over Zane so powerfully that he had to sit down. Sophia sat beside him, their shoulders brushed, neither pulled away. When Zane thanked her for staying, his eyes shining with quiet gratitude, Sophia felt her heartbeat shift. She didn't want the day to end. She didn't want to return to a life where she woke up alone in a cold penthouse